I would like to say thank you for joining us for this panel that I'm really, really looking for. And music is medicine. And I don't want to talk so much about it because I will leave this to our host, which is Julia Labonte-Stoy.
Hello.
And yeah, give it up for Julia. And I want to say Julia and I have a very long friendship, and we also met through music, and we had a collective called Love Gang, which we continue to have, you know. We don't throw parties anymore, but we throw parties. And I'm very happy that she said I'm gonna do the moderation of this panel. And yeah, you will do the rest now, right?
Yeah, thank you.
I'm so chilled now. It's Saturday evening. I'm really looking forward to this now. Enjoy.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Katja, and honestly, thank you for putting this up. Like 2 amazing days already. Yay!
Not without the help of MOMEM. I mean, what's going on here behind is just pure magic. Thank you.
So give it up for MOMEM. Yeah. And everybody making those 2 days so special, really. It has been 2 special days. Some of you have been here for 2 days now, and it's really inspiring, empowering, and really nice. So FEMC, the baby is born, I would say.
The baby is born.
Let's bring it on the road. And
yes.
Yeah. So thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you, and it's good to be here with my lovely guests, which I'm going to introduce in a bit. But the topic of the panel today is music is medicine. And oh yeah, music is medicine. And I think all of us have their own story about music and what music can do and how music can shift and change our lives and kind of a daily dose what we do. So what would we do without music? I can't even imagine. I wouldn't want to imagine what we would do without music. So it's great to be here. And even like the dance floor, like later on, Mel G is going to play a set for us in the little dance floor in the back, so we can all experience what the dance floor can do, the community we have, and how this can sweep pain away, like a day maybe who was a bit depressing, so we can go to the dance floor and kind of shake this thing off and have rhythm and have beats. So this is gonna be really amazing. So I don't want to talk about this deeper because we have 2 lovely guests here which really can do that better. So to the right we have Emma Marshall, straight out of London.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you
so
here.
So good to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. And Emma, she lives in the intersection of club culture, science, and healing. She's the founder of Movement is Medicine and a PhD researcher exploring how electronic music, rhythm, and movement can act as medicine for our bodies and nervous systems. And after working in the music industry by yourself many years and getting experience there, you turned down your own journey through kind of illness and recovery and search for what is healing into a book, amazing book. So hopefully a couple of you have read it already. If not, you have to do it. Music is Medicine. Your story into a book with science and research and what it can do. So the book dives into the power of repetitive beats and alternative approaches to healing. And today you're creating spaces where raving, neuroscience and trauma work come together. Emma, please warm welcome to Emma. Actually, do you want to add something?
I mean, that was it in a nutshell, really.
In a nutshell,
you did some good research there.
Yeah.
But yeah, The concept of my work kind of started, as mentioned, as a process of recovery. Working in music, I worked in electronic music for over 10 years, and I got really ill, and they thought I had Lyme disease. So my body really shut down. I couldn't walk. I was having like weird seizures. Had to go to Mexico for medical treatment. Went and sat in the jungle, met all the shamans, drank all the potions, and then found that in every single ceremony that I was in, that the one thing that was always the same was that there was a drum. And they were always encouraging people to move when they were in these like really deep processes. And then I was just like, oh, this is just like raving. And so that's really where it all came from. It was like looking at how humans have done dance and banged drums since we could. Our version of it nowadays is the dance floor. It's raves, it's clubs. And they need to be protected. And these scenes and communities need to be protected. And we need to bring in the narrative of health and well-being, because that hasn't been done yet, and that's really important to allow communities to thrive, scenes to grow, and also look at things from an angle where you might have felt all of these things, but you don't have the words as to why you feel them. And that's also really important and like I think really validating for a lot of people. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Super interesting. Thank you so much. You get a little bit into diving deeper, and I read it, and we have a couple of really sections in the book. Super interesting. But I would love to get Nadja into the group and circle, jump in. So Nadja Stubig here, Berlin-based. Hello. Well, warm welcome, please. So welcome, Nadja, and thanks for joining today. And so Nadja stands for radically playful, intuitive approach to electronic music. Living in Berlin, you're moving between rock techno, glitchy EDM, and synth-driven ambient. And you hold a residency at the famous Berlin Tresor Club. For how many years now?
I think this is the third or fourth
year. Okay, interesting. That could be maybe later on to dive how maybe that has changed, like the dance floor has changed a bit. I don't know. So, but yeah, in your studio, which you have, you combine vintage synths, modular systems, and software into a living ecosystem of instruments and art. And alongside this artistic practice, you also coach. You did a workshop earlier on production, which was really, really good. I get great feedback. And coach other artists on production, self-confidence, and sustainable creative careers. So welcome, Nadja. Thanks for joining here.
Thank you. Again.
So also invite you. Would you like to add something?
From which year are we starting? Joking. So my main focus is indeed electronic music, but I'm having a bit of a similar story with the health journey. In that moment, I became ill when I was 27, and I had this feeling of like, I'm not my illness, and there were a lot of things going on. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to Nepal, and I want to know about sound, because it was more so that I was a raver when I was younger, for a long time, but there was more to it, So I studied to be a sound therapist there, and I did a lot of healing sessions also with my Tibetan sound bowls, and I incorporate the knowledge from that into my daily music and working with a lot of different contrasts in the music. So, as I said before in the workshop, I don't believe in genres. I believe basically in moods. Sometimes I listen to what it's called techno, which is a bit more up-tempo and it brings the drive and hypnotic. But sometimes I just feel like I want to be in the lower, calming energies, and then I'm making ambient. So the music I'm making and performing, they go literally to any genre there is. But it's storylines, and I thrive heavily on storylines, and I think we all do in some ways in life. So I'm trying to create worlds, basically. Yeah.
Katja.
Shall I introduce myself
Yes,
again?
please, because you said you're going to introduce yourself by yourself, but you didn't.
Okay.
Please do.
Yeah, I'm Katja Ruge. I'm a photographer and a DJ, also doing a bit of music production, and I'm also throwing events at the Planetarium in Berlin and in Hamburg, which is called Electric Lights, Women in Electronic Music. And I curated this whole event, and as I said before, you know, for me, this aspect in electronic music, the healing aspect, is also always connected to a lot of, you know, people think this is something esoteric or something that doesn't belong on the dance floor, but I personally think, and this is my real experience as a raver since a long time, when I feel bad and the music is good and the community around me is good, I feel instantly better, and it's simple as that. So for me, it's a really important call that we are going back on the dance floor and experiencing that. And I think, you know, having this museum here celebrating dance floors and electronic music is the best place to start this new, how do you say, I'm not very good in English today, wow. I had so much talking already. To start a movement, you know, we start a new movement now today here with Emma and Nadia and Julia.
So you both talked about the experience going through maybe not so good times. Do you remember the moment when you kind of had that feeling that music can heal? Was there a moment? Was it a specific moment? Yeah, you say, yeah.
Yeah, for me, yeah, 100%. So my recovery process was during COVID. So there was nothing available to anyone at all in regards to support. And I was left with like really bad PTSD, like having, you know, nightmares and fainting and like all that kind of stuff. And then also a lot of physical pain from the treatments that I'd been on and just the journey I'd been through. And I woke up one day and I just had a very clear voice in my head. I don't know who believes in God or the universe or whoever, but there was a very clear voice in my head that was like, get up, put some music on and dance. Because I think that when you go down a route of, you know, the healing process, and I put it into quotation marks because that can mean so many different things to different people, but you go down this route of healing and everyone assumes that you're now like, sitting in lotus and doing yoga and that's it. And it's just like, I really don't like yoga personally, it's not for me. And like, so I was just trying to find other forms of movement that like made more sense. And then it was like, why am I not going to just put some music on and just have a dance? Like, this is what I've been doing since I was 15. So I might as well just do it now. And then on the days that I did do it, it helped a lot and the symptoms subsided. And the days that I didn't do it, the symptoms came back. And I was like, okay, cool. Definitely something in this because I'm using it so intentionally. Like, I'm not just going to meet my friends at the club and dancing because it's fun, right? It's like I'm using this as an intentional practice every single day. And my energy levels were extremely low. So it was a case of, okay, so this is helping my energy. So what does that mean? And then it would just go down this kind of, I just basically went down a rabbit hole of just looking at all the reasons as to why this worked. And
so you experienced it by yourself, and then you kind of, a voice said like, I want to know what it's really about. Like, because you're so into the science of it. And I think everybody is interested maybe in getting to know a bit more about that. So what exactly is happening in the body? Is it? Can you give that in a nutshell, maybe?
In a nutshell, right? So
come on.
Let me think. Right. So
secrets.
Basically, music is one of the only things that lights up 5 different areas of your brain at the same time. And so you've got all these different kind of reactions that are going on, and the different cortexes are lighting up all at the same time. So it's a connector. So music is the main connector for your brain. And then on top of that, music, electronic music in particular, proceeds with movement. So my kind of thesis and what I speak about a lot is the fact that it's all very instinctual. Rhythm is actually instinctual. Movement is actually instinctual to music, especially when there's rhythm and percussion involved, right? So what goes on is you have this loop. So it's interesting because in regards to music production, there's looping, right? And the same thing happens in your body. So there's a loop between your sensory circuit, which is sound, and then your motor circuit, which is movement. So the input audio is audio, and the output audio is movement. And so that, to me, was where everything started to make a lot of sense, where I was like, okay, we're just this one big circuit. That's all we are. And so if your circuit has been broken by something, maybe that's trauma, illness, stress, disease, whatever it might be, there's ways in which you can loop the circuit back together. And it's when the magic happens when you partner music and movement. I mean, magic happens anyway, I think, when you listen to music, of course, but I really believe very much so in the partnership between music and movement being the output that you are then gaining from how your brain is basically lighting up. And that also comes into nervous system work. So nervous system regulation is like a massive buzzword now on social media, but realistically what it comes down to is that your nervous system is your circuit board. And so being able to give it healthy inputs and the way in which your body sort of creates this circuit where your feet might be tapping on the floor to a tune, but you're going to feel the sensation in your chest. That's your nervous system. It's like all these little things are lighting up all at the same time. And that to me is like, oh God, that's magic. That's literally magic. So it's not even complicated either. And I think for me, learning the why has been the most essential component of all of this work, because it gives a validation that you're not going to get just through the feeling. And it's like, I've had this feeling since I started going raving when I was literally like 15 years old in London, where I go to like garage raves underage. And like, that was what we did.
We all know that.
Yeah, it's like your first raves, you're like, oh my God, what is this? And it's like the best feeling in the world. And it's like that then continues again and again and again. And then suddenly you're starting to understand you've got, the motor sensory loop happening. You've got the emotional processing going on. Because that's the other thing, is that music is an amazing emotional processor. So if you've had like a really shit week and you're just feeling not great and your mood is low, and you go out on a Friday and you get on a dance floor and you literally dance it off, there's a reason that your mood completely shifts after not even like 20 minutes. It's like all of these different things are happening all at once. Your limbic system is going into the ability to essentially process the feelings, the somatic sensations that we get, so that you're not attaching to certain stories and you're able to just let stuff go. That's why I think ravers are some of the most open-minded people in the world, and like you're able to kind of just connect on this level because you're able to just constantly be in this loop of processing. There's so much. Like I could literally sit here and talk for like another 2 hours.
And you know what? What just came to my mind, can I just go into it? Because we are in Frankfurt and I have this really, really funny job sometimes that I DJ at the airport in Frankfurt, in the terminal. I have this security check and everything. And there you are, standing in the middle of the restaurants and DJing, and people stare at you like, what are you doing here? And so on. A friend of mine invented it, and I think it's such a brilliant idea, because something happens there when you play music. And I had this one day, like it was snowing and lots of flights were cancelled, people were going back and forth. There was a stress situation, and I started to play a lot of very mellow but very rhythmic sounds, and people at the bar started to be quiet. The restaurant seems quieter in a minute. children were like looking at me. Then there was this little child starting to dance in front of my DJ booth. I was like, oh, I think I turn it up a little bit. And well, no, but you know, the guys at the bar were just like looking at me and smiling, and it felt like there was a rainbow coming into the terminal, and it was really wild, and it ended like 4 hours later. People were dancing in front of me, like, you know, like passing by and just like, yeah, you know, oh, thank you so much. It's so great. And it was in the end, and honestly, I was like, this is unbelievable. The whole space was standing up when I stopped the music and started to applause. And people were like, thank you, you made my day. This was such a stressful day. So putting the right music on there shifted the whole energy of this bloody airport in Frankfurt. And I loved it, to have that power also.
Amazing story, Katja.
I had to tell, because
this is a prime example, right? Because it's like, it's not in its usual environment, right? But
Exactly.
it still has the exact same impact.
Yeah.
So there's another phenomenon that I should also mention, because it's really important. It's called rhythmic entrainment. So this has been studied in depth, where they play rhythmic loops, basically, and then they look at things like brain waves and then your heart rate. And it's been shown in several studies that your brain waves and your heart rate will sync up. So basically, what rhythmic entrainment is any kind of external rhythm, your body naturally syncs to it. So if you're stressed, your heart rate will increase, because that's a part of the stress response, because it's preparing you to either fight or run away. What a good example here is that you've got all these people sitting in an airport who are going to be in fight or flight because they're annoyed, because their flights are cancelled and they've got to get somewhere and whatever. So they're all going to be sitting in this stress response, and their heart rates are going to be elevated. They're all going to be pissed. And then you've got someone like Katja, who then starts playing music, and that music will literally sync up all of these people's heart rates. That's why people then go quiet and they will start listening. It's a mass meditation is what it is.
Yeah.
Because
that's what it was. Yeah. That's how I felt it.
That's what it is.
It's not going to happen there every time, but this one particular day, it got all together, and I was like, wow, this is magic.
Yeah, it is.
And it's stuck in my, it's really stuck in my head and in my system. And when I think of it, you know, it makes me smile.
Yeah, and I think the people who experience that also, you know, think about it with a
They
good,
still contacting
memory.
me and asking me, oh, I'm at the airport. When are you playing again? I could do a residency there.
Can charter a flight, yeah. Oh, that's a lovely story, honestly. I think
Thank you.
all have experience like that. I would love to come back to the question, maybe give it to Nadia, about was there a moment when you experienced music as a healing tool, maybe for yourself? Was there a special moment, something you remember? Or?
I think, you know, for me I was born with perfect pitch. So for me, for those who don't know that, like BPM and octaves and scales in music, I didn't needed classical schooling for that. It's just the nature of who I am. So in that sense, I figured it out on a later stage, because I could see colors with music, and I literally started to think like, am I different? Or am I weird? Because, you know, why can I just... Is that my main language? I think it is. So then I started to realize that I'm just a massive... Like, okay, we are big cucumbers, you know. We are like 60 or 70% made out of water. So, okay, we resonate. So we are big resonators, meaning... Everywhere where I am, everywhere where I go, I absorb. So that means that not being me only in places, if we would stand next to each other, we give each other vibes. And those vibes go via vibrations. Vibrations is the language of the universe, of the world we live in. Even material, even what we sit on, this is all like made out of frequency. So I was really young that I started to notice that. Not knowing that, okay, when I was raving, that process also happened, right? And I was not that conscious in that moment about it. So then I started, of course, to make music. And I was like 18 or something. And I made music in a way of like, as I said, in moods. You know, I don't have this kind of genre thing. I just feel and I sense. And I started to realize, hey, actually I can emulate places. I can emulate moments. We don't need to be in a club to experience club. So I can, in my music, emulate the feeling of being in a club by using references from the places. References in, like this, me to the wall has a distance, and distance you create with special like effects called a reverb or a delay, or it resonates. So this distance I can basically emulate with music, with sounds.
I would love to hear that.
I'm doing that all the time, so be my guest.
Yes, later in the club, right?
Yeah, so in every club, every space, every open air has a different resonance. Okay, so meaning what I'm hearing at home is not what people receive when they are in a place. We have to think also about that. But then if we go back to the healing moments, and especially in Nepal, like what I learned about, you know, indeed with diseases, they have a very high resonance. It's a very high frequency. So I try to explain it in a not too medical way, but if this is your frequency, right, it just vibrates somewhere here. Yeah, it's that, and like this is the spectrum, so it's somewhere there. But it doesn't know the spectrum when this is just the only tone. We need, how do you say that? We need like a resonance against something, you know, so it feeds us back where we are. Like, if you were not here, I don't know what the distance is, let's say it like that. If that object is not there, there is nothing to measure. So, meaning if there is like a higher frequency going on, we need to have something else that is above that, and maybe something that's below there, to have that contrast, to know where it's at. Meaning, if a disease is a frequency, what could we do then with frequencies? And that's something you probably study for. And this is what I'm trying in my dance music, or if I'm performing in Trésor. I'm not just putting techno tracks there, I'm putting tracks there that heals people, hopefully. Yeah.
So how could you define healing music in your personal? So what does it do? What's the feeling it gives?
So if we are Earth,
Mother,
brother,
Mother Earth,
mother, meaning what feels good for a human being are low frequencies. Lower frequencies ease our minds, because higher frequencies in chakra-wise are here, right? So what do we need to do? We need to go into lower frequencies, which you could define if you have a higher frequency again. So we can't miss out any of them. Same like in life, darkness is not there without light. Light is not there without darkness. We need contrast. So I lost train of thought totally. But I think
low frequencies.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, thanks, mate. So if you go to a club where they have a good sound system, or the sound systems they have in the UK a lot of times, those big fat basses, literally you can feel it in your womb, you know, in like.
Well, yeah. On that, there is this one study that's been done, and they have tested the effects of bass and low frequencies on the nervous system, and it activates the vagus nerve. So your vagus nerve is the key kind of nerve that you have when it comes to like how you deal with stress, basically. If you have high vagal tone, which means that your vagus nerve is healthy, you're more likely to have quite strong resilience against stress, and you have like like an off and on switch that your body kind of naturally can turn off and on when the stress cycle is complete. But a lot of people, because we're living in these chronic stress cycles and they're not dealing with stress and trauma, your vagal tone decreases. And so that's why, again, if you go to the club, when you've got the good sound system and you stand next to the stack, and you're like, oh my God, this feels really good. It's
like
because
a massage.
It's literally like
a massage.
Yes, because your vagus nerve and the brake is turning back on. Yeah. So there is also there's the research is catching, like everything you're saying is like everything I also have studied and believe very much so. Yeah, you're just coming at it from like that side, and I'm coming at it from that side. But what I will say is that I believe everything you're saying. It's just that the science is only just catching up, and it has always been like that, because the esoteric traditions and like Eastern medicine and everything else, the shamans, whoever it is that you're like learning from, this is like just knowledge. This is wisdom. This is what they have in their communities, and they understand it. As Westerners, we sometimes can get really blocked by the fact that we're obsessed with science, basically. And it's fine because there's research being done, but it's not being done at a quick enough kind of rate or pace. And so, it's all everything's saying the same thing. It's just in a slightly different context, basically.
Yeah, you come, which I find super cool. Yeah. Because it's like, we're like, yes, exactly. I know what you're talking about.
I get it.
Yeah, I think this is,
Seems to be the same frequency, right? Yeah.
It really is. I just come from my own testing mechanism, and I know our bodies are the biggest compass, you know, and I feel like that's why some things resonate and some people you don't like and some people you like, because your body's like, it's like,
I found something you said, I think Nat, you said once, when I create, my soul creates. My soul is speaking when I create, I'm sorry. Right? So I found this a very nice thing, like, it can be create, or my soul is speaking when I maybe dance, so...
Yeah, it's hard to say if it's my soul. It's like, I feel I'm saying that because I don't have another word for it, But it's almost like I'm a vessel sometimes, and things are coming out, and it's not even for my own ego, you know? Like, it's not even that I'm saying like, yeah, Nadia, sick track. And then, you know, no. Or sick DJ set. No. It's more like, this needs to be there, you know? And I'm not sure where it's going to be ending up. I'm hoping I'm helping someone. Because I hardly listen to my own music. Mm-hmm. I made it over and over and over, send it into the universe, and that's it.
Well, you're a translator.
Maybe I'm like, how do you say that? Like a talk? I don't know how you call it in English. Like someone that's like for another language.
Yeah, translator.
Oh,
that's it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Oh my God. Yeah, translator for the frequency. You know, it's a sort of like, it's a blessing and a curse. I can tell you that. Especially
it goes through you in a way, right? It's like and you put it into something.
I mean, yes, and an example. So if I have to travel, there is a lot happening. You know, I'm not only there with visually, that's a lot happening, but my ears and my being, it's like a sponge. And I need to like have earplugs, and then the best earplugs. And then I have to have a noise cancelling, because or it influences me, of course, or it influences the music I'm gonna make, and maybe I'm in an album run. I can't have that, because it's I need to have a filter to not be the cucumber, you know? I mean, it's hard not to be, but like, yeah. Yeah, it's that's why I'm saying it's a blessing and a curse. It's like I can hear from the bar the sound that's happening there, for example.
Yeah, but Katja, you also are multi-sensoric, right? Because
Yes.
you're a photographer, amazing photographer, but you produce music, you DJ, right? So how does that feel like as a universe, let's say, and maybe in relation to healing processes?
Can you repeat that question?
Well, I was multi-central, right?
Yeah.
You have the eye, no? So maybe you see things through your eye.
Well, yeah. I mean, I see sometimes things in people that I portray, and it's also, you know, you explained it very well, Nadja. You know, I resonate through my eyes with the person I portray. And, you know, to be a good example were we, you know, when we met, we were on such a high energy both on that day that I didn't even feel we met in reality kind of vibe.
Still not.
When and
We
why?
still not, exactly. and I sometimes, it also scares me what I see in people, because I had also moments where I saw, I met people and I saw that they ill, that there's something wrong. And when you then experience half a year later that this person has cancer or is in treatment or something, it's pretty scary. And music, so the frequency for me in music and in seeing things, it's all together, you know. There's also, and there's also like this, you have when you take photos with a person, you have a rhythm with this person. And you also have to adapt to the rhythm of the person you portray. Because sometimes people are super stressed, they are on tour, and then you want to have half an hour of them, but they want to eat, they thirsty or whatever, or just had a stressful interview or a shitty show or whatever. And I don't go against it. I try to go into the vibe and try to, in a way, also get into this rhythm, and also slowly try, when it's a weird rhythm, try to balance this rhythm out while I'm doing pictures. It sounds very complicated. It's very easy. It's just comes out natural. But how to explain those things? You know, those moments.
Yeah, thank you. Do you see, like, now I have a picture of also like being on the dance floor and kind of giving the music, sharing it. Do you often, and we talked about it when the lights were spotlight on us, and I was like, but yeah, you can't see the faces. And you're like, I like to see the faces. I like to see the eyes. Like, how is the experience if you see letting the dancers, letting it go? Like when the moment comes when they surrender to the music, right? Or even maybe first to the DJ. Or do you DJ, Emma, by the way?
Well, I'm learning.
Not yet.
So it's on my, exactly, it's on my to-do list. But I think this is the thing with club culture, of like where it's at right now, which is really interesting. It's big production, it's DJs on stages, it's everyone facing the same direction, it's phones in the rave, and it's completely changed the dance floor. So it is taking away from a lot of people's catharsis, basically, because the catharsis happens when you go in to yourself and you're not focused on watching a DJ and looking at the screens and whatever. And it's really interesting because it's not to say that like that stuff is not important or has its own place, and big festival productions and all that kind of stuff. Everything has its own place, but I think that we're in this day and age where the younger generation are struggling to dance on dance floors because they're more concerned with how they look and being filmed and that kind of thing. And the older generations are basically like, I don't care, we're going to do our thing.
We're going to see that later.
Yeah, it's like whatever. Like this is just what we do, and it's really funny because like, well, I just remember like being younger when I was like 18, and I was adopted by 30 to 40-year-olds at the rave. Like it was normal. And
rave kid.
Yeah, and I was like learning from them, and I just, you know, was literally adopted by this whole crew from West London. I'm from North London. It's like completely different sides of the river. And so like that doesn't really happen now. It doesn't really happen as much because everyone kind of has their own little groups, and it's very different. And I think that it is definitely impacting the way in which people are able to surrender and let go. There are obviously still spaces, I haven't been in years, but like Berghain, Panorama Bar.
Resort too, right?
Yeah.
So it's no phone.
Yeah.
So and they're coming back, like the no phone policy, and luckily comes back.
That is a huge thing. Like it really is. Like there's a club in the UK called Amber's that just opened in Manchester. They've also got no phones policy, and I personally think it's really important to like really enforce that. Because it's like, if you know that there's a camera on you, and I'm sure that you can obviously speak more to this, but like you the body will change, like naturally, it will just.
I had this, not an argument, but a friend of mine, a queer person, he was asking me about, you know, I'm in this dilemma. I need photos of my show, but I play in small clubs where photos are not allowed, and it's, but you know, to gain, you know, more people that following me, I need these photos, and I said, well, you know, the thing is, and I preach I preach this all the time. I say, bring back the staff photographer, the person. It's a photographer in the club that knows the audience. The audience knows the photographer. You ask people if they want to be photographed. You vibe with them. And I remember a rave in Manchester, by the way.
Hacienda?
No, it wasn't in the Hacienda. It was in 2003 in the setting of 24-hour Party People. And they had a big rave there. And I was allowed to take photos there. And people didn't even see me with a camera. They saw me as a dancer. And I think it's a gift that some photographers have, that they can, like Benita here, we show her photos. Benita also has that vibe. I mean, it's insane how close she can get to people, and you don't have the feeling she's observing them in a weird way. She's with them. And this is why I chose her to exhibit here. And it's very important that we find these people that are showing club culture, because it's important, you know. And what they could do is the photos go online, there's a link, people can download the photos with them, and their friends can post them. So everybody, you know, there are photos, but they are a little bit more controlled, and it's not 20 people who have a phone, and people also can say no. And you know, it's a more respectful way to get along with photos, because I think it's also important. This is what I learned, you know, from the photographer I worked with in Manchester, and I assisted Peter J. Walsh, very famous music photographer in Britain, and he said to me, it's very important to photograph youth and club culture. And we see it, you know, we are in a museum where it's displayed, MOMEM exhibition here. It's insane to see these photos, you know, and to get back into it. But it's a very, you know, you need to have to come back to our topic, to find the rhythm with the people, and then photography in clubs is possible. And it's a very different vibe. A big camera or a camera has a very different vibe than an iPhone. It's just the way it is. Sorry. Well, yeah, true. Yeah. What can you say?
Yeah. No. Yeah, I mean, it's of course a generational thing, also maybe about the clubbing culture today. No? So it's shifting, changing a bit, not only to I wouldn't say to the bed, but now also like a sober rave or like daytime raves. That's a great thing, right? So, by the way, we're going to do a Q&A, like after the talk. So invite all of you maybe to ask questions or to share a bit maybe of your experience as a clubber, young clubber. It would be amazing maybe for us to hear what's the experience on the dance floor. But yeah, so I don't know, what do you think about the sign of times to have these kind of raves now, or not leaving out the phones? Because I think this is I agree, this is like killing the vibe, and it's not giving the people a chance to get into the moment and to...
So there's a party that's come up in the last 3 years. I just went to their 3rd birthday in the UK called Forward Motion. It's so good, yeah, because the demographic is basically just 50-year-olds. And it's such a good party because everyone there is there to just dance. And there is no, like, you don't walk in and there's people standing there, like, nervous in the corner. Like, everyone, as soon as they walk in, it's just like, yeah! And it's a house rave, and they go through the whole spectrum of house music. It could be, like, a guy that they've flown in from New York that's playing, you know, deep sort of Chicago house stuff, through to the 2010 era of deep house that came out of the UK. And it's just such a good party. Like, I just can't explain how good it is. And I was told about it as one of those that built through word of mouth. And the best parties are obviously always the ones that people go, oh, have you been there yet? And again, it's like all these things I think are missing now because social media has taken over so much. So, like, when you come back to the origins, which is like, you know, this is before my time, but during your time, it's like... you had to text the number to find out the location and, like, you know, all that stuff.
Phone numbers. You called a phone number and you got from somewhere written on your skin, and then you're like, oh shit, I can't see it anymore. Dial 3 times the wrong number and shit like that. Yeah, and like
that's
how it worked.
It's like you had to kind of work for it a bit. It was like, you know,
you had to do the work.
Yeah, and then so when you get in there, you're going to give it your all. You're going to really just like focus in on just dancing for all this time, right? And I think that's where the shift is coming from in regards to day parties and sober raving. It's from people that come from that world of, like, you actually had to really make an effort to go to these parties. It wasn't just, oh, here's 20 parties on a weekend and I might just pop into this one here and then go to another one and go to another one, or just not go to any of them. Like, we're kind of a bit spoiled, really, is the bottom line. So
people are overdosed.
I'm not sure if I agree with that, to be honest. No, I don't think we are in that sense spoiled. So what happened along the years is that, like, electronic music became like more capital, you know, there's so much more money in there. So people that go to raves, they do have to think if they have money for it or not. So I see, like, the effort is in a different way. Like, it was more underground, I would say, in the past. Now the underground is more commercial, you know. There is new underground things coming up though, which I see. But, like, we can't deny this whole money situation that came in, you know, and that we have to think, and the younger generation, they have to think where they're gonna go now, because it's not always anymore possible for them to go out.
But also, I think there needs to be a little bit more, you know, awareness of what a rave is, because this word has been you know, misused a lot. I mean, it's like nowadays everything's a rave, and I'm like, no, it's not. Through research, while I was curating FEMC, I was on TikTok and was listening to all these people talking about electronic music, and it drove me fucking crazy. I literally was like, no, this is not, this can't be true. How can you explain music that means so much to people in 5 minutes, and music that is so powerful in 5 minutes. And for me, that I went off again. It's not for me. It's overdosing, and everything's called the same, and it's so uncreative, I think. And it just needs more simplicity again. This is my feeling.
And it maybe needs something. It can't be described, right? Because it's a feeling, and it's not a process or whatever. No, it's just like an experience in a way. Yeah. I would love to talk about. Now it's getting holy. Yeah. To talk about a bit more about music as therapy, right? Because. So do you think like music could be used more in therapy? Like
100%. I mean, we have music.
In which ways? Yeah.
Yeah, music therapy, obviously, it does exist, right? And that's important to explain, is that it absolutely exists. It's just not that accessible, is the bottom line. And so I can speak, obviously, for the UK, because that's where I'm from. But music therapy, we have the NHS in the UK. Don't let anyone tell you on the internet that it's terrible. It's not. It's great. It's free. And it works. But it's also very limited, and there is only so many things that people can offer. So we have something in the UK called social prescription, which is if you go to the GP and you say, I'm really stressed or I'm depressed, and all your test results come back as you're depressed or you're stressed, they are allowed to prescribe you things that are socially good for you. That could be like going to a community sauna that the government has then subsidised, and then you might go to like a knitting class or something. It's all about community work, basically. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really, really cool. So the work that I do, we're trying to get it onto social prescription, basically. The thing is that there are a million hoops you have to jump through. It's not just like, oh, I've got this idea, and then they're like, great. It's like hoop 1, hoop 2, we need the data, we need the research, we need X, Y, Z. It's like a very, very long process. And then on the flip side of that, you've got traditionally trained music therapists who are trained in music. They are not trained in movement. That's really important. So my argument is, but why would you not have them both together? Like, I don't personally understand that. I haven't gone through traditional training, so I'm sure that there are a million answers for that question. But anyway, my concept is very much based around you cannot have one without the other. So music therapy, like, you're already doing it if you're on the dance floor. Like, that very much is part of music therapy without a shadow of a doubt. But even just simple things like going for a walk with your headphones in and like step into the beat, those things are all part of like music therapy. One thing that I'm working on at the moment and have been for a while is, I mentioned this earlier to you guys, working with a friend of mine who had a stroke. So he's 60, had a stroke last year, and he called me and was like, I want you to do your work on me as part of my recovery protocol. I was like, okay, cool. This is a lot of pressure. And it was very intuitive. It was like, you're working with somebody that can't walk, and one side of their body can't move. So it's like, okay, my whole method is based around movement, so let me have a think about what we're going to do here. And so what I've been doing with him has been, he lies down. This is the starting point. This is where we started, and now he's up dancing. So the starting point is him lying down on a bed. We get rid of his sight, so he wears a blindfold, because it really is important that he's not focused on watching his movement. He has to feel it. And the purpose was to get his feet moving like this in time to the same beat as his hands, to the rhythm of the music. And so he's Jamaican heritage, so I started off by playing reggae, and it didn't actually work because it's too slow. So it was really interesting because there's a lot of talk in music therapy about resonance, and resonance coming from the aspect of my body and my mind at the same time remember this feeling to this song because I remember it being played at whatever point of my youth or whatever. So there's a lot of things in, for example, like dementia therapy, where they'll play songs from people's youth to try and like trigger memories. So I kind of went with that basis first, and I was like, that's not it. It's not going to work. And then over the course of the next 12 weeks, it was about finding the right soundtrack. And for a 60-year-old Jamaican man, that sounded like Latin house. And it was like he'd never listened to that genre in his life. But what was really interesting about getting him into the rhythm was that Latin house has layers of percussion. So he found the rhythm really easy to sync to because there was more than one percussive instrument, basically. So even if I started to play, for example, like deep house, and the reason I use house, by the way, is because house sitting between like kind of 115 to 125 BPM wise is like the perfect tempo for somebody in recovery based on that is basically their walking pace. So if he can't walk properly, you're trying to basically kind of sync him back up to a walking tempo. So that's why we were using that type of house. So anyway, over the course of like working with him for 12 weeks, the first session, his feet were synced up to the rhythm of the music. And when I took the blindfold off of him, he was like, it's not working. And I was like, what are you on about? Your feet are moving. And he was like, I can't feel it. He could not feel his feet moving, but his feet were moving because it's instinctual. So this is really important to just understand, like when you're looking at different therapies, it's like you are going to instinctively move to music and your body is going to respond to it if you give it the right environment to do so. And in stroke therapy, they do have like rhythmic, I can't remember what it's called now, it's called like RAS or something like that. Mm-hmm. But it's like, yeah, it's this rhythm-based protocol that is designed, but it is not using electronic music. And my argument for it is, but we've got all this amazing music that's been produced and we should be using it in health situations because that's really actually what unknowingly it can be designed for, right? And so, yeah, like I've now worked with him, we're on month 9, I think. And he is, dancing and walking and...
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
he's doing really well.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing work.
It's literally unbelievable, like, watching it happen. Like, especially when I understood that he couldn't feel his feet moving, but his feet would move in time. That's when it was like, okay, cool.
Magic.
There really is
Pure
something in this. And it is about, like, teaching him as well. Like, he has to... Once he understands why as well, he'll go away and then do the exercises for the week and then come back the next week and he'll be stronger because he understands what we're actually trying to achieve. So it's also an educational thing, and I think that that's also really important. That's kind of the work that I deliver in my company even, and what we're about. You can have all the exercises and we can give you the practicals and we can kind of say, like, go away and do this. But if you understand why we're telling you to do it and where it all comes from a theoretical standpoint, you've got logic and feeling in one kind of session. And that way you're more likely to then implement it because you go, oh, that's why it worked. And then I felt it working. Mm-hmm. So your brain just goes, yep, cool, done. Okay. Yeah.
It's like, check.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Wow. That's an amazing story. Anything you want to add?
No. I'm speechless.
We leave it. Yes.
Well, I can only say, well, my mom had dementia, Alzheimer's, and the only thing I could connect it in the end was through music. And I had a boombox, which I gave her, was putting it in her hands, so she could feel the vibe, the bass. And it was amazing what happened, like there was this almost not reacting person, and then she started to do something with her hands on the drumming, and it amazed me all the time what music could do to her, and we did it till the very end. I played music till the very end, and to her, and I have the feeling I could guide her in a very nice way into the other reality she's now in, and also for me, I feel still so much connected through that music that I played to her. And when I listen to, for instance, Grace Jones, which she loved, I feel close, to my mom. So talking frequencies and all that. And And yeah, it's so powerful, you know, and even if a person can't move anymore, the person is moving.
Yeah.
And that's the magic.
Yeah, exactly that.
Thank you for sharing these.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Sorry we're getting so...
Yeah.
But you know,
it's emotional.
It's
Yeah.
part of our lives, and it's also
Yeah.
part of the dance.
Yeah, it touches. I would love to hear, like, are there, for you personally, each one of you, special sounds, instruments that really heal yourself? Like, what is the most powerful sound instrument for yourself? Is there something?
I mean, for me, it's the drum.
It's the drum.
Yeah, all day long. Like the drum, all day long. Yeah.
Like the percussional or like the...
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah, drums.
Give it to
in
me.
every format. Yeah. Because, I mean, the drum on a visceral level is vibrational, absolutely. And then you've also got the understanding that the first sound that you actually hear when you're in the womb, because sound is the first sense to generate. I don't think that's the right word, but we'll call it generate. So you hear your mother's heartbeat. So you're used to that sound from before you were born. And then, so when you're a baby, is what I write about in the book, like rhythm is an instinct because you're also rocked. It's very rhythmic. And then when you're rocking a baby, they're up against your chest. So they also hear your heartbeat. So the beat of the drum is very much ingrained into us biologically. And then culturally, what I found really interesting, this is the best. Mm-hmm. So basically, every single culture around the world at one point used drums as part of ritual. So that might look like death, grief, birth, war, etc. Every single culture without fail had drumming. And then the church came along. And we're like, this is demonic, stop it. And loads and loads of white European cultures basically had to get rid of drumming. And when I say the church, I also very much mean the Roman Empire. So all these rituals, like across Europe, I don't know where anyone in this audience is from, but you will have in your lineage at some point some sort of drum ritual. And within the drumming rituals, there was also usually a dance. These cultures around the globe that still exist today, that still have these rituals, didn't have that same level of colonization. And then also this came into the awareness of even like the church bells and like Gregorian chanting.
Church bells
yeah,
happening here today.
Yeah, and like even like chanting and like all that kind of stuff. There's so much to this that is like ingrained like very deeply within our lineages that again it just kind of like it's not even about science. It's so deep as a human thing that for me, the drum is the main connector across all humanity. Yeah, basically. So yeah.
Feel that. Thank you. Nadia?
I love my synthesizers, though.
There's one more sitting there.
Hi, girlfriend.
What does it do to you?
Oh God, like what does it? What not? Like I grew up with gadgets first and foremost. My dad was in the chip industry, so we had all the gadgets that were out there. So you know, even though my mom is a hippie and my dad is the other side, so what I became is the modern hippie probably. So as I said before, like I don't have, you know, like children or a family. I'm with myself, like sort of, creator with my synths and all the stuff that I need. And yeah, like already now, I do miss them. I feel like
you can get some out in the back and plug them in.
Yeah. It's just I'm gone. You know, if I touch it, I'm gone. It's almost like they are my tool to calm me down and, you know, like release. But funnily enough, like I go really well on white noise, and white noise is also what we hear in as a baby. And we have different kind of noise. We have pink noise, brown noise, white noise, and they all have different frequencies, but white noise is overlapping all frequencies at once. And that means steady. So when I can't sleep, I put that on and I fall asleep. So that would be, and that's also the first sound you hear when you plug in a synth, the noise. Mm-hmm. So that's it.
It levels your...
Yeah, it's weird, but
the nervous system then probably, right? That's what happens. Same?
Yes.
Yes.
For me, I'm really addicted to Flächen, to space. I'm doing this event at planetariums, and you have this full dome, 23 meters high, with the space visuals and so on. And this got me again very interesting. I got connected to music in a different way when I started out playing music there, because it's in a way also a gathering with people. It feels really like gathering. You get really sort of you lying. It's not dancing. But you can dance while lying and watching the stars, and your mind can shift and experience. You can experience yourself. You get really into yourself. And the music that I started to play there has more space and it's more fluid. And for me, it was a very interesting shift in my DJing, to go into that on that route. It's very beautiful, and it also starts to show in my normal DJ sets. I'm very addicted to that. And also my favorite synth in our studio in Hamburg, the synthesizer studio Hamburg, we have over 50, the guys, they have over 50 analog synthesizers. It's heaven, but my favorite is the Korg Lambda. It's because it has like this, and I love it.
And there she goes.
Yeah, there she goes.
And there she goes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for sharing. Well, yeah, a super inspiring talk. I mean, I have one question in mind I would like to ask you, but I would like to open up for if there's any topic you would like to talk about. But I think we haven't talked about the academy yet, right? The Music is Medicine Academy. So this is something maybe you can share with the audience and with us in a bit. What do you do there in the academy?
Yeah, sure. So all of the work that I do, basically, we've put it into training. So it started off as a very much individual training, come and learn, and then you can teach this work kind of within your own communities, and that's still very much like part of it. But we have changed everything now, so we've expanded it massively into looking at how we can train companies, because if we're able to get your company basically to pay for it, then great. We're able to have this work as part of the well-being offering, or whatever your kind of well-being scheme is within your own companies, and we don't have to be there, because that was the thing. It's like, okay, this is all my work. I'm one person, so this is going to be impossible. So yeah, it's now a digital training that exists online, and we are in the process at the moment of doing. We're about to do a study, very, very soon. We're about to do this study. Once we've got the results from this study, it will kind of like change the face of what we're doing, because we'll have actual measurable data around what this methodology kind of is and what it does. And the bottom line is that the methodology that I've like put together and that I've created is giving people the why, so all of this science and all of this context around why this all works so well, and then looking at it from a practical perspective. How does this work in a corporate setting? How does this work if you're a teacher in a classroom? How can we use this to emotionally regulate children? How can we work with stroke patients? Like, what does this all look like? So that's basically what we're kind of building out within the academy. It's like all these different accredited trainings so that we can bring this work into different environments and make it make sense. So, yeah.
Hopefully soon it's going to drop. Yeah, amazing work, Emma, really. So,
Can people contact you when they interested in this study that is coming and also in your work?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, get in touch. So we've got, I mean, everything goes out through Instagram at this point, really. Yep. So the website and the Instagram page is mimhq.co.uk. And there's like all the information, but yeah, we're adding and changing and constantly looking at evolution within how we're teaching this into the general public, basically.
And I also have to say, I can only recommend to follow these two women on Instagram, because you lift me up so many times already. So thank you for all your postings and stuff. Yeah, because it's very important that you, I need, sometimes I need like that it's repeated, the information gets repeated, and you do that. And also Nadia is always so inspiring when she sends out some love from her studio, and with your energy, it's just so special and so also so thoughtful. All the stuff that's in your mind and you telling towards people. I think it's the I think there's a lot of weird stuff out there, but these two are for me very inspiring, and that's why they're also sitting here today.
100%.
Thank you.
And you, Katja, bring all together, right? So
yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm so happy, and I can't believe it's almost over. What the fuck?
So we
have Mel G. Oh my God. We have some more talking here, right?
Right. Yeah, we can do a little Q&A, of course, because as said, would be amazing to maybe get your perspectives or questions. After that, we might get into movement bit with Emma. I heard something.
Yeah, we put a song on, and
right
we
after
get right into movement.
Mel G, are you around? There she is. So she's gonna play after this, right over there, and we take some medicine together, I would say. All right. So
why not?
Why not? Let's open up for Q&A if there are questions or. If there's a queue. Yeah. Maybe you can come in front to the mic.
Thank you so much for everything. You made me cry several times.
Oh no!
In a good way. In a good way.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. And I wanted also to thank the whole FEMC, because I think this topic wouldn't come up on another. Like when dudes made a program, this topic wouldn't be here. So thank you, and thank you for the topic. And I find it very interesting, the point of, you said the one, I don't know if I would call it patient, but the guy you put blindfolds on him. And I would say I also like experimenting with my body to feel this healing. And it helps me to close my eyes, and I have to concentrate to get away from what people are thinking of me with my movement, to get this feeling from like a healing. So I have to get really into myself and out of what people are thinking and what I look from the outside. And maybe you want to say something about that also?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my whole method from start to finish, whether it's with one person or whether it's with 500 people, is eyes shut. So if we do it in a minute, you're all going to shut your eyes for that exact reason. Because what happens is the ego is strong, right? The ego is made up of loads of other people's judgments and belief systems and these things that we absorb that we don't even realize we've absorbed them. And the ego is like, oh, you look stupid and they look stupid and blah, 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 right? And so the best way to shut up your ego is to close your eyes and just block it out. Because then if you're not feeding it sensory input, there's nothing to see. So then you go to your next sense, and your next sense is feeling and touch, actually. And then, so when you've got the combination of like the feeling and touch, and then also the sound at the same time, you're still creating that loop that I mentioned before. And it's the loops that provide the healing, in my kind of professional opinion. That's really what we're after, is these like constant repetitive patterns. I got on a little tiny tangent, but it's relevant. So basically, your brain is constantly scanning for like danger at all times. It prioritizes survival over anything else. And so that's why when people talk about regulation and like the nervous system and what nervous system regulation is, it's not bringing you into this like complete Zen state 24/7. It's just saying, like, if you feel yourself in this kind of like survival zone, how do you kind of bring yourself out? Because right now we're all safe, we're all good, we don't need to be there, right? But if you're then on a dance floor or wherever you might be, like doing this work and trying to get music to evoke a feeling or a sensation, and then you feel judged or someone's watching you, you're going into danger, right? And so if you shut your eyes, it removes the danger because you can't see it, basically. And then on top of that, you've then got the music and the repetition providing safety, which essentially turns off your amygdala. Your amygdala is that like part of the brain that is like, we're gonna die. And so, yeah, it just kind of shuts it all off so that you can really get the most out of like feeling grounded and calm and safe and present. And that's where we also end up going into these trance states. So there's this one tribe that's really interesting in Botswana. They're called the San people, and the San people are like the oldest tribe in the world. They're like the original hunter-gatherers, and they go into trance dance. It's like part of their ritual, where they play certain drum loops and then they like just kind of dance around a fire. And the whole ceremony it gets quicker and quicker and quicker, but it's very repetitive. And so what I found really interesting is like when you look at the repetition in different ceremonies like that, then you also look at electronic music and you look at the loop and the repetition. It's the same thing going on, it's just in a slightly different context. So then when you bring all of that together with eyes closed, it also allows your brain to go into theta state, and theta state is your meditation zone. And so that's also where you dream and where your conscious mind and your unconscious mind are very bridged. And that's basically as well where a lot of very deep healing actually happens and takes place. You won't get there in beta, like you just won't. It won't happen. So there's all these kind of like scientific reasons as to like why eyes shut is important and why it helps. But the bottom line is that if it feels good and it helps you, just keep doing it. Like, I think we can explain things away a lot of the time, but I really want to like hone in on the fact that like if something feels like it's working for you, like just trust that it is, basically. Obviously within context. Obviously. Disclaimer. Yeah.
Yeah? Good.
So I am a huge admirer of your work. I read your book, and actually this week I was, emailing with your company because I want to start the instructor training. But I'm going for work away for a week next week, so then I'll start after that. I wrote my question down because I'm a little bit nervous. And I would love to hear both of your perspectives on this, actually. So the reason why I want to do the instructor training is because I'm really passionate about wanting to help people and wanting to bring them the healing power that I also myself have experienced through music. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I'm also very passionate about clubs and about nightlife. And I basically just wanted to hear from both of you how you, how do you see how we can position clubs as spaces for healing, to teach people the power of music and also build communities around it?
Here we go. I've been thinking about the same question. So, because I play in so many clubs all over, I suddenly, in the night, had this idea. by day, these clubs are empty, right? And the costs are extremely expensive these days to rent a space. So we are sort of working on an idea which has to do with a platform I'm building to bring back knowledge into the club. But it has to do also with workshops by day and live sets and everything that has to do with knowledge. So yeah, that's an idea we have. We want to bring that back. Yeah.
So we're about to do a study in the biggest club in the UK for this reason, which is if we can start to look at club spaces from this angle, where they are community centres, because we don't really have any of those anymore, then we can look at different types of funding, because this is the issue, is that the government, whoever, I'm going to speak for the UK, but the government won't put funding into clubs for things like loneliness projects or health or whatever, because it doesn't fit under that bracket, because they're constantly deemed as unhealthy, or, you know, the focus always is on drugs and alcohol. That's it, that's the business model. Yeah. And clubs are starting to realise now that the business model just being drugs and alcohol isn't working anymore, because the culture's shifting so much, and there are more people who are inclined to look at things from a zoomed out lens of, I think there's something more going on here, like, you know, I am sober now and I'm not interested in that, but I still want to dance, etc., which is why I think we have more day parties in the UK anyway than we ever have done. So yeah, we're doing a study very, very soon to get the data, because this is the key. Then there's no interest from government, because that's where the money is, if you don't have the data. It's really that simple. That's why I went down the science route, by the way, is because all of this stuff I was like, well, this is all of this to me is a no-brainer, like, duh. And then I started contacting all these people that either I used to like work with or have relationships with, or who are working with the government, and they're like, no, we know, but it doesn't work like that. And I was like, oh, okay. So what do we need to do? We need to get as much data as possible, because that's when you unlock things like Arts Council funding, right? And other things that exist within budgets for cultural and creative processes that are essential for well-being. It just hasn't been delivered in that way yet, because the data doesn't necessarily exist in these formats. And yeah, it's been a very interesting process, because I come from electronic music and club world and rave culture and working in festivals and all these different spaces. So I understand that side like the back of my hand. But then coming into the other side, which is, well, yeah, like, who makes up these policies? Like, where does it all come from? Who is in control of these budgets, etc.? And then how do we unlock that and make it relevant for operational clubs, so that the cost is covered where they can open in the daytime, without having crazy operational costs that are going to make sure that they're at a loss because they're not selling on the bar. And these are the things. It's like we need a shift anyway, which I think is happening more. And we also need more collaboration. That's the other thing. So there's like, I mean, you look at any brand these days, every single brand is doing run clubs and like putting money into community activities and experiences, because to be honest with you, people are sick of social media. Like we had COVID, which made everyone be on social media, and now everyone is actually a bit more sick of that. They want real life experiences again. So I think that it's a really positive turning point for where we're at anyway. It just requires like certain pieces of the puzzle to sort of be put together a bit more, so that we can access more budget. If we can access more budget, then more things like this place exist, you know? And it's like, it's just so essential.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really want to hear about how you will experience that. So please get in touch on Instagram. I want to know your path
Journey.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your talk. It's been really interesting. I was just kind of, wondering how how to get dancing back into the club, I guess, and like your experiences of having these kind of like meditation experiences and then kind of bringing that back into your ideas of like club culture. And I also sort of see it a lot. There's, 5 rhythms. That's massive. And that's going off in church halls all the time. I go there with my parents. And I find it really funny because it's a church hall with bright lights, shit sound system, but the dance floor is amazing because it's full of it's totally intergenerational, and everyone is moving together, and you're like going through this process of dancing, and it's really cool. And why don't those people feel comfortable going to the club? And for many reasons, absolutely. But I'm sort of like, there's an appetite for dance from everybody. And people want to dance together because it makes them happy. So why don't the clubs provide that? Yeah, totally. And we talk about safe space all the time in clubbing. And yet something about clubbing, it's exciting because it's risky. And we kind of don't want that to disappear either. You can have 2 floors, yeah, maybe. I don't know. There's something
I was
I find
talking
it really
about
interesting.
it earlier. I'm like when I started to go out in Berlin, we talking old Tresor and like house raves somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but. We had always this. We had the dance floor and we had the chill floor, and of course, chill out is not a foreign word for everybody in electronic music. But I personally think I made so many good experiences because when I was like a little bit tired or I was just coming into this environment, I needed to get into it, and then I firstly went into the chill out and. There were people who were doing massages, and we're not talking about whatever massage. We talk about massage to get you, into the rhythm, and there was nice music was being played. Even they had a DJ also there. It was in the corner and who was playing chill out music, and. I think it's such a great thing to do, and we know this from like. Big raves and mostly Goa parties have that kind of environment. And I wonder, why is it not possible? Because I experienced it in the techno context. Why is it not possible to have that again? Because I think it's so wonderful when you have in a club different spaces where you can experience the vibe you're into right now, or you are open for experiencing another vibe rather than only the dancing vibe. I think, and that maybe is also the entrance for other people to go to a club and to start moving into the dance part, So, I think bring back the chill out floors. I mean, I'm up for it. I'm totally up for it because, as I said, I experienced this kind of thing at the planetariums in Berlin and in Hamburg, and people lying there chilling, and I think it's such a great vibe,
Fabric do it.
Fabric, of course.
Fabric do it on like weekenders. So when they're open for. Yeah, whatever it is, 72 hours.
And they have a great curator.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's a
so
great
Fabric
guy.
do it in London. I can't speak for the others, but I don't know, man. It's a big question.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I don't have an answer, I don't think, because I think like it's very subjective as well. Because I know that the parties I go to, everyone's dancing. because those are the parties I go to, and I want to go to parties where people are dancing. But then I guess it's also looking at the understanding that there's a lot of people now that will go out and they just want to film stuff, and like if the phone thing is a big thing, and like it's taking away from allowing people to drop into that present moment experience, and then they move into you've also got people that move into wellness spaces that are like, I don't want this environment anymore because I'm not enjoying it, because it's either got too many drugs, alcohol, whatever, that I'm just not interested in anymore for whatever reason, or there's not enough dance. And then it's becomes segregated. And that's what I find problematic, is that we're not just incorporating it all. Yeah, it's like, we don't need wellness dance. Like, we just don't need it. Like, it's not necessary. It's like the dance floor as it is wellness. And I think that that's really, like, the big thing. I mean, actually, okay, I'm going to answer your question then. I've just come up with the answer. The answer is education. That's the answer. The answer is to continue to educate people on what's going on the dance floor. Like, we just did a, self-promo, but we just did a massive campaign with drum sheds on the science of the dance floor, because their ethos, that's not the right word, well, it is, but their tagline for the year is the dance floor is bigger than the DJ. So we did a whole campaign with them on why the dance floor is so essential. And it was really, really good. It got really, really good engagement, and people were really, really interested. We got loads of people that then found our work by collaborating with them as a brand, obviously a club. And for me, that's really what it comes down to, is like, I dip my toes into wellness spaces, and for me, I was like, I'm not into it. That's just a personal preference. But I was also like, well then, where I don't want to go out until 6 a.m. anymore either. So what's going on? Where's the fine line? And so that was the thing, is like, I want the big sound system, and like you said, I want the good sound system. I don't want the little shitty one in the church. Like, I need the stack. Like, I need to feel it. So what's the kind of middle ground? And like, I personally have managed to find that, but I do think that it's not as universal maybe as it once was, and that's why these spaces are becoming more apparent and more wanted. And there are also people that have just like got kids, and they're just like, I'm 50 or 60 and I'm just want to go have a dance in a church, and that's fine. Do you know what I mean? That's also fine. It's like these spaces can exist all like at once. We don't have to continue to be like, oh, why does that exist and why doesn't that exist? It's like there's an audience for everything for a reason, and people are going to go. Like I said, like for me, that space is like, it's not for me, and that's just a personal preference. I don't believe that they should not exist though. You know, it's like, it's just not for me. Whereas like the same applies to rave culture. It's like, the wellness stuff can exist, but so rave culture can also exist. It just needs to be maybe slightly diversified, and there needs to just be a little bit more education. And that's kind of my mission with what we do with MIM, and the whole kind of ethos behind Music is Medicine as a book, and like all these things. It's just like education is at the core foundation, and that way we can see a little bit of a change in industry, in live events, in funding, in all these different things that make a huge difference. Because the UK is in an absolute shitstorm at the minute in regards to nightlife. Like, it's diabolical. Yeah. Like, how many clubs are being closed. Like, it's like a real genuine fight at the minute. And so that's why with the work that I'm doing, it's like, how can we support the live music space by providing as much evidence as possible that we can then bring in and sort of say, do not shut this because it needs to be used for this reason. Like, there's a massive mental health crisis that is forever going on. The thing that sits at the top of that mental health crisis is loneliness. Dance floors are the literal answer. Like, it's not even rocket science, but unfortunately, we need more data because that's the world we're living in. So
I think it's also interesting because like we think that music is the driving force of youth culture, but it's not anymore. Gaming is.
Absolutely.
And so then I think it's also that thing when clubs are looking for their demographic or the new generation to come in, they're not there.
They're not there.
They're in the video games.
Yeah.
And that's also how they're hearing music now as well, and how they're kind of understanding that.
Absolutely.
So I think that's also when you look at music trends and the way that like music is kind of being understood as a society, it's totally changing. So that whole idea of like the underground and things being new and knowing where to go and that whole network that we used to have also with dancers, that's not there. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, in terms of this, like, what is who's the club's audience? Mm-hmm. You're looking at like 30-year-olds.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like, but also that's where it has to shift into, okay, so if we get the 40-year-olds in to do a bit of like day raving, but also like, how can we also mix it up and do, you know, a sound healing workshop or whatever it looks like? That's where club spaces will regain their power. I have no doubt in my mind about that at all. They have to just understand the business model that all these clubs were built on no longer works.
This is what I mean with the chill out floor.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the shift that needs to happen in industry. The impact culturally, though, I don't know, because, like you say, it depends on many different factors, including, are people going to get up from behind their computer and stop streaming and go and actually, you know, experience real world stuff? But I do also think at the same time there are millions of people. Like, I think that we can get a little bit disillusioned with social media and be like, oh, everyone's doing that, and it's like they're actually not. Like, there's lots of people doing certain things, but there's lots of people doing other things as well. And then there's, you know, that's why tickets are still selling and selling out, and festivals are still going, and yeah, it's a big question.
Don't believe the algorithm.
Yeah, don't believe the algorithm. Yeah, turn your phone off and just go.
Thank you so much. That was a very good question.
Yeah, I just wanted to continue on that question because of promoters and DJs and artists are trying to bring people into clubs. I have a lot of friends who I say are music enthusiasts, but they don't really go into clubs anymore. And I have such a hard time bringing them into the clubs. And I know that there are people out there who are going to dance, but I think sometimes it's hard as a woman to go alone into a club. For me personally, it's a huge gap of wanting to do it, but then I don't have the power to do it, especially if you don't live in Berlin or in a big city. Most of the times you enter and then everyone's like, okay, so she's alone, you're weird. And I'm wondering, how can you, or what would you say, how would you bring your friends and other people, like-minded people, how do you get them into the clubs?
Brutal force.
Woo!
Okay, no, maybe not, but like, oh man, hyping. Like, if you set, I really believe in setting yourself the example, you know, like sharing cool sets, sharing cool information that's coming up. We had all the times these forums, you know, that we were on scrolling, and we were like, oh my God, that person is playing and this set is coming, and like, it was a hype. We were hyping each other, you know. And then we were making like a thing out of it, like, where are we gonna have a drink then? You know, it became this thing. But of course, phones, distractions, there's so many distractions these days that I think we just need to talk over the distractions, you know,
Exactly.
almost. And then brutal force.
And that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying, I'm hyping them up. Just a one-person show at this moment, but sometimes I can tell them and then they come. But then most often, the club is full with people who have the feeling are just there because other friends convince them to go. And because the entrance is so expensive, they're thinking that the person on the front is going to make the party and not the dance floor. It's like people have forgotten that you have to bring the enthusiasm as the party. And that's, I don't know, it's not motivating.
It's your own energy you have to bring in, and they need to learn this again for some reason. Yeah. But also, what I think is important, and maybe that's something you can work with, for me, it's always like I have this ritual when I go out. I put my makeup on, or I have a nice track before I go, and I meet with friends, and then we go out together, and we already like have a vibe together, and maybe you can make a little party before the party, and then continue. So to get them first out into your flat or in a friend's flat, and then hype them. It's like, let's continue this vibe, and then go out. Maybe just an idea.
I mean, a little trick. I mean, a little trick. So no, don't put anything in anyone's drinks. But no, I didn't say that. A lot of artists, including myself, we are giving free guest lists away. And there are many people that text me that I don't even know on Instagram and ask me like, hey, can you have skip the queue or a guest list? And mostly we have like 10 guest list places, and we have my age, they are knitting. No, I'm joking. Not everyone is coming with me to my gig. So I have 10 guest list places. So that's a good incentive, I guess. And then, of course, the party and brute force again.
Yeah, and also we just had this conversation with a friend of mine who moved back from Hamburg, Berlin, and now he's back in Frankfurt. And he just told me, Katja, I remember this party where you put me on your guest list with 30 people because on his birthday, because it was my own party. So maybe that's a great idea to to just talk to your favorite DJs and ask them. Or just be a little bit more, go for it,
And also, I will say, like I mentioned earlier, I was adopted, right, by people, because what happened was with me is that all the girls that I was friends with at school that liked to go raving, like I mentioned, it was a lot of garage raves, which was very, very girl heavy. I loved drum and bass and grime and like a lot of house raves, and at that time, a lot of the house crowd were older. So I was just going to a lot of these raves with the boys from my school and just me tagging along. And then I'd make friends with the older crowd. And I just highly recommend it, because then you start to like make new connections. You start to have new friends that have the same cultural interests as you. So you're not, it's like, oh, do you want to go to the party? Yeah, of course. There's a guy that I connected with last year on TikTok. He literally, all he does is just like dance to tunes. Like, that's all he does. He just puts tunes on and he just dances, and his profile's like grown to however many people. And there was one where I basically commented on, and I was like, I've written a book about all of this and like how good it is for you. And he was like, no, I know, I've read it. And I was like, oh, cool. And then he was like, yeah, when we partying? And I was like, don't know. And I ended up going to a festival with him. And it's just like, social media can be used like that as well, like messaging DJs or like connecting with people that you are like, oh, you look like a fun person. Do you want to go dance? I don't know.
You look hot.
Yeah.
Let's go out.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, ask someone on a date. No, I'm joking. But like, yeah, just figure out like, it doesn't always have to be your people. There are loads of people that exist within these communities and these scenes. And this is another reason as to why I think it's important that the olders look out for the youngers, because this was always my experience, is that I never worried about going out. I'd go out after I was 18. I would then just be like, I'm out. My parents would be like, who are you going with? I'm like, you don't know any of them. Because they're all like in their 40s and live on the other side of London. Like,
questionable.
We're all just these like random people that I met at the rave. And I'd just go on my own, and I'd turn up and I'd see like 50 people that I now knew, because I was just in the same communities and the same spaces. And I don't know if that exists anymore as much. Like, I can't say if it does or it doesn't. But I'd really recommend, like, if you're struggling with your own crew, like, find a new crew. Like,
but then be careful a bit, please. I want. There are some crazy people out there. Yeah, honestly. No.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, of course, I absolutely agree, but I personally think, there's always danger around the corner. There's everywhere danger. I mean, I just experienced this. I've been just robbed in almost front of my house. All good, but you know, unexpectedly, what's going on? And I just came from a DJ set and had the best time. And I think, you know, you have to check on the people, and of course, but it's good sometimes to change community or find another community. Maybe it's a community that's already out there and is, you know, also experienced and so on. So yeah, go for it. And be, you know, aware. And you know, and also what I do at the moment is like, because I fear a little bit when I go outside. I have 2-3 phone numbers of very close friends, and fun fact, there's a police guy living above my flat, and he gave me his number, and it's like, when you fear, you can always call me. And I think it's really cool that he's doing that. And so I have these numbers, you know, because I don't want to, you know, I fear a little bit on my own right now. So have some phone numbers you can connect and can call or send messages when you don't feel good with the new people, and you'll be safer.
Am I one of them?
Yes. You all can. Typing in phone numbers now.
Actually, a question for you. Yeah, I'm really curious what since we're approaching the end of the conference, what like the next steps would be for FEMC, and like how we can stay up to date, if there will be a follow-up.
Oh, good question. You can stay in touch with me on my Instagram for sure. Also follow MOMEM. They also have a newsletter, and you know, sign in. You can also sign in my newsletter on my website, you know, to get information, what I'm doing, what I'm up to. And let's see, you know, I mean, we had this really nice conversation with the Kultur Senator yesterday, and she was really into it, and she really loved it. So hopefully this will continue. There's no plans yet, you know, it was really, the baby is just born, but I hope it continues, because, I mean, I had so much fun, oh my God. I'm still having fun with all of you and insane guests, and with the resident advisor, and the week, you know, yesterday, also the panel was so moving and so touching, and a great DJ set by Electric Indigo, and now DJ MLG, I mean, poof, it's insane, you know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for asking. Yeah. Very nice.
Okay. If you're standing, I'd actually recommend, this is weird because obviously it's like, how do I move? But I'd actually recommend sitting down to start with. So just find a seat. And you are going to close your eyes, like I mentioned, because that way you're going to block out everyone and everything going on around you. And I want you to put your hand on your chest and just take a nice deep breath in through your nose and then sigh it out through your mouth. And you're going to do this 3 times. And I want you to just start to move your hand on your chest to the music. So you might want to start to just tap, you might want to just rub. But just become really aware of how your hand is feeling on your chest. And just start to tap your feet on the floor to the rhythm of the music. So what we're doing, or what it should look like, is that your hands and your feet start to sync up. And I want you to add in some breathing techniques. So you can do this at your own pace, but I want you to start to count in your head however many breaths you count in for, you're going to sigh out the exact same breath. So maybe it's 4. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. So you're syncing up, you're tapping on your chest, touching on your chest, your feet on the floor, and you're breathing. And just notice how your body is feeling. We need to start to move a little bit more to the music. You can move from your hips if you want to, but just start to move a little bit more. Really start to loosen yourself up. Still finding that rhythm. Feet on the floor, hands on the chest. Take a nice deep breath in for 5. And sigh it out through your mouth for 6. Moving your hands to the top of your head. And just start to tap on the top of your head as you're tapping your feet on the floor. Same thing. Find that rhythm. It's a really beautiful song to do it to because it's looping. And again, just notice, how does your body feel? Where do you feel that sensation? You're tapping on the top of your head, but maybe you feel something else. Maybe you feel it in your legs or in your chest. Good, stand up. Open your eyes and you're gonna shake it out. Literally just shake it out. Everything that we just kind of like felt, that we become aware of, shake it out. And I want you to start to stamp your feet on the floor, again to the rhythm of the music like you're marching. And you're gonna just move your hands above your head, and then out to the side. Above your head, and out to the side. Keep doing this, and every single time you do this, I want you to imagine you are literally throwing away anything that has been really stressing you out. So, up, and out. We're gonna throw it away. Up, and out. Throw it away. Up, and out. Throw it away. Good, shake it off. Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And again. And out. One more time. And out. How are we feeling? Notice any changes in your body. And now you're just gonna dance. You're just gonna dance. You're loosen up. Just enjoy the music. Thank you so much.
Will carry a message of peace and unity to the farthest reaches of the universe.